Okay, here we go. Week 2, day 1 workout. So starting with a warm-up, we've got a 30-second hold for each of these stretches. So we're starting with our froggy squat. So just squatting down with your elbows inside of the knees. We're going to touch the floor and then just push your hips up as high as you can, just getting that nice stretch behind the backs of your legs. And we're also just trying to open up those hips as we come down the bottom by pushing our knees away from the elbows as well. So second stretch is our mountain climber stretch. So we're in push-up position and we're bringing that foot to the outside of the hand. And we're going to push the knees away from the elbows to try and open up those hips and taking a nice big step forward to stretch out our hip flexors as well. Last stretch is the glute stretch. So again, in push-up position, just crossing the leg over out in front. And then we're going to lean over the leg and down to the floor if we can to get that nice big stretch of the glutes. And if you want to make this one more difficult, you can bring your foot, the front foot, closer to your elbows. So really making that knee straighten out a little bit more. Okay, so round 1, we've got 4 rounds with 20 seconds rest in between each round. Starting with a front lunge into a reverse lunge. Okay, so this is 1 rep. So stepping forward, then stepping back equals 1 rep. Okay, so as we step forward, we want to make sure we are driving through the heel of the front foot. As we step back, it's the same thing. So we're stepping back and then driving through the heel of that front foot as well. So we're trying to put a lot of pressure on those glutes on each lunge that we do. Second exercise is our side step squat. So what we're also adding in this one here is a little bit of abduction with the hands, which means that as we come down for the squat, we're pushing the knees inwards, and with our glutes, we're going to try and push the knees away. So you're creating that bit of tension in the hips as you're doing these squats. You can also make these a little bit harder by adding a weight to your chest or to your back. But we really want to focus on trying to push those knees in with the hands and then obviously trying to push the knees away with the legs against the hands. Third exercise is a very difficult one, so I'm glad I've got a video for it. We're doing a fire hydrant into a donkey whip and into a donkey kickback. So what we're doing is starting with the fire hydrant, which is your knee bent. We're going to push it out to the side, then straighten the leg out, then work it around to the back, then back out to the side, bending the knee and back down again. So the important things to make sure with this one is we're keeping the back and our torso nice and straight and still. And we really just want to try and squeeze your glutes as hard as you can the whole time. So squeeze the glutes, keep the glute tight, work it around, squeeze it some more, come around, make sure it's still in the hips, and then back down again. All right, moving on to our hamstring walkout. So we're going to a glute bridge, which is on your backs, bringing your bum off the ground. And what we can see here, we're going to walk our feet out, but we're trying to keep your bum off the ground the whole time. So we're basically walking out as far as we can until our bum touches, and then we're coming straight back in again. So 1 rep is going all the way out, which is about 6 steps, and then all the way back in, and we're doing that 10 times. Round 2, again 4 rounds, 20 seconds rest between each round, starting with our standing kneeling shoulder press. So this one's a bit of a pike sort of shoulder press as well, if you want to call it that. So it's almost like a push-up, except what we're going to do is tuck our head down. So we're trying to put more emphasis on the shoulders instead of on the chest. So you can also do this with your feet elevated on a couch to make it even harder if you guys are strong enough. Or if you need to make it easier, you can go to your knees. But the same principle, we're trying to keep the head down and tucking our shoulders forward so that we can really emphasize the fronts of the shoulders instead of the chest. All right, into our prone broomstick towel rows. Okay, so what we're doing here, arms out in front. I've got a towel, you can use a broom. So we're coming out, stretching out with the hands off of the ground. As we pull it in, we're going to elevate the chest and bring it in nice and close to your sternum. And we're going to squeeze your elbows as hard as we can behind us. So we should feel this one in our back and in our lower back as well. So we're really sort of trying to put as much emphasis on the back muscles as we can with this one as we pull it into the chest. And we're moving on to our 6 pointers. Okay, so this one's pretty self-explanatory. I've got a couple of milk cartons in my hand to make it a bit harder, but again, you guys can adjust and use as much weight as you like. So when we start again, you can sort of see which one we start with first. The easiest way to remember is start from the side. So we're going out to the side, to the front, all the way up, back out in front, to the side, and then back down again. And the last is our Renegade rows. So I've got a little bottle here with a handle, which makes it a bit easier. But you guys can use a small weight, any weight. It doesn't really matter if you have a weight or not. We're just, again, trying to squeeze those elbows in as close as we can and engage those back muscles. So a little bit of resistance is good, but we can do this one without a weight. We can just squeeze the elbow in nice and close to the body and contract those muscles behind the armpit.